guys, it's Gretchen and welcome back to my channel. So we talk a lot about aftercare. When it comes to a brand new piercing, we're always harping on making sure that you're keeping up with your aftercare and you're using the correct things for your aftercare. But what if you're doing that and your piercing still just will not heal? Like, what is causing that? You're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, or so you think. For today's video, I thought I would touch on 5 common reasons why your piercing may not be healing despite the fact that you're keeping up with your aftercare. Now, these are not all the reasons that could be causing your piercing to not heal properly or just not heal at all, but these are the common ones that tend to pop up. So the first one kind of goes along with aftercare. You know, you may be using that saline solution. You may be using that mild, gentle cleanser. But along with the correct aftercare, you may be using other items that you shouldn't be using. So maybe you think your aftercare is fine when it really isn't. So what are some items that you could potentially be using that may further harm your new piercing rather than help it? For starters, you should never, ever, under any circumstance, use alcohol, Bactine, peroxide, or Neosporin. Anything like that. All of these products are incredibly overdrying and they can suffocate your new piercing. And your new piercing needs oxygen in order to heal. And these products tend to suffocate it. All of these products are also too harsh for such a sensitive area like a brand new piercing. Heck, if you go to Bactine's website, it says, don't use this on a piercing. So if the company itself is telling you not to use it on a piercing, you probably shouldn't do it. You may also be using products that you think is okay to use, but actually isn't. Contact solution and nasal spray. I didn't realize this was a thing until I've gotten several comments on videos before saying that people have cleaned their new piercing with their contact solution or even nasal spray. And at first I'm sitting there going like, how could anyone think that that's the correct thing to use? And then I realized both of those things are labeled as saline solutions. But here's the reason why you shouldn't use either of those products or anything that is not designated for a brand new piercing. And that's because despite the fact that they are saline solutions, they also contain chemicals in them that are not meant to go on a wound like a brand new piercing. They're specifically formulated to be safe for your eyes, safe for your nose, but they're not safe for much else. So although these solutions are technically saline solutions, they are not specifically formulated for a sensitive new piercing. So when it comes to your aftercare, just stick with saline solution that is specifically meant for a piercing, as well as a mild soap such as Dr. Bronner's. All right, so the second reason why your piercing just may not be healing is because you're over cleaning it. I get it, over cleaning it sounds like a really weird reason why your piercing wouldn't heal. In fact, a piercing only needs to be cleaned 1 to 2 times a day. That's it. Unless you're noticing more crusties forming on it, maybe 2 to 3 times is what is best for it. Pretty much on average, 1 to 2 times. I personally stick with the 2 times a day rule where I do it first thing in the morning and then right before I go to bed. But if I do notice crusties forming on a brand new piercing throughout the day, I'll go ahead and do a little bit of a clean down middle of the day, but that is it. In theory, it does sound like a better idea to clean it multiple times throughout the day. I get that, but it actually ends up doing far more harm than it does good if you go with that mindset. Like using incorrect products, over cleaning can lead to over drying, which you do not want for a brand new piercing. So although you may want to potentially speed up the healing process for the piercing, or you think it needs to be cleaned multiple times a day, stop doing that. It's gonna prolong the process of healing rather than speed it up. All right, so the third reason why your piercing may not be healing is because you've done something to irritate it. Now, keep in mind, brand new piercings, especially if they're cartilage piercings, are so temperamental. They're so sensitive, any little thing is gonna irritate it. If you look at it funny, it's probably gonna get irritated. Numerous things could irritate your piercing. And what are some of those things? The main one that people tend to do is sleep on a brand new piercing. You should not be sleeping on it. If you just got a brand new helix piercing on your left ear, you shouldn't be sleeping on your left side. you should be sleeping on your right side. If you're a back sleeper, congratulations, you got it a little bit easier. But if you are a side sleeper like myself, you gotta be conscious about what side you sleep on. What are some other things that could irritate a piercing? Say you're in the shower and you've just washed your hair, you have a brand new ear piercing, you go to dry your hair with a towel and your towel catches on it. It's gonna irritate it. Then you're brushing your hair, your brush catches on a brand new piercing. That's gonna irritate it. You may find with something that's brand new, you're gonna wanna mess with it a little bit more because you're not used to it being there. Guess what? That irritates it. Other things like unnecessary trauma to it, such as constant friction with clothing. So if you're pulling a shirt over your head and it brushes up against that brand new piercing, that can cause irritation. If you're putting on a hat and the hat goes over your ear and there's a brand new piercing there, that can cause irritation. Also, exposure to the elements such as intense cold, the ocean, harsh sunlight. Any of these things could irritate a brand new piercing, prolonging the healing process. So you kind of just have to be mindful, you know, whether you're out and about or you're at home, of every little thing that comes within just centimeters of a brand new piercing. I know I keep pointing to my ears, you can have a brand new piercing on your face. You just have to be very conscious of anything that comes in contact with your brand new piercing, because anything, any little thing, even if it seems minor to you, is not gonna be minor to that piercing and will prolong the healing process. You just gotta be aware. So the fourth thing has to do with jewelry, and this is in two parts. The first part is you've changed out your jewelry too soon. I get it. We want to get rid of that starter jewelry so bad. It is so bland, it is so big, it's like, ugh. We don't want it there. I get it. But you have to be patient with a brand new piercing. Changing your jewelry far too soon can set you way back in the healing process, because when you're changing out that jewelry, it's causing that friction that we talked about with like maybe a shirt accidentally brushing over it or even a brush brushing over it. It's causing friction and it's going to cause an irritation, and it's going to set you back a whole lot in the healing process. Keep in mind that piercings heal on the outside first before they heal on the inside. So it may look absolutely fine to you on the outside, but you can't really see on the inside of that piercing. So while it looks great on the outside, the inside may still be very sensitive and just not ready for that change. So be patient, do not change out that jewelry until you are allowed to. There is a time limit, depends on the piercing that you've gotten. Just be patient. Going along with that, the second part is that you're allergic to the jewelry. This usually is based off of nickel allergies. This is usually the most common reason people develop a jewelry allergy, is because it has traces of nickel in it. Avoid jewelry with any traces of nickel in it, and that's gonna be your best bet. Do you have that allergy and you have jewelry in that has nickel in it, or at least traces of nickel in it, that's what can lead to your piercing just never healing. Despite the fact that you've done everything correctly, that jewelry is gonna cause it to not heal. That is why I personally love titanium so much, because it does not have traces of nickel in it. It's a pretty good option for anyone with jewelry sensitivities. Is a little bit more expensive, but really in the long run, I feel like it's worth it to pay that little bit more so that you don't run into any issues. So both changing out your jewelry too early or being allergic to your jewelry can set your healing process back quite a bit. And the last thing that I'm gonna touch on for why your piercing just may not be healing, no matter what, is that you are stressed. I mean, who isn't stressed? I know I am. But did you know that being stressed can actually prolong the healing process for your piercing? So there are a variety of reasons why stress may prolong the healing process. Some of these may not apply to everyone, but some may. So the first one that is the most common reason is because stress can lead to compromising your immune system. And you need your immune system to be in tip-top shape in order to heal a piercing. Because your immune system is compromised, it's sending out energy to more important areas of the body, and it's gonna completely forget about that piercing you have. Likewise, when your immune system is compromised, you have a greater chance of becoming sick. And if you become sick, your immune system focuses on more important areas and it prolongs that healing process. So this next little section for why stress can prolong the healing process may not apply to everyone, but you may find that it does for you. Stress can lead to poor habits. Now I put poor in quotes because everything in my research was calling them poor habits. I myself partake in one of these things, so I don't necessarily call it a poor habit, maybe just a poor choice at the time. So stress can lead to poor choices, poor habits. What do I mean by that? Alcohol consumption and smoking. Do you ever find yourself reaching for a drink when you're stressed? Or maybe if you are a smoker, do you find yourself reaching for more cigarettes? It helps relieve the stress for the time being. However, it can also prolong the healing process of a piercing. Alcohol is a blood thinner, and if you have a brand new piercing, you may notice that it bleeds a little bit more, especially earlier on. And if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, it's gonna thin that blood out, and you're gonna bleed a whole lot more. Now, keep in mind, one drink is not gonna do much harm, but multiple drinks in like one setting can. And then smoking. Smoking is just a pretty poor habit to have anyway. We all know that. We're all aware. But smoking can do a number of things to a brand new piercing. One, the actual smoke from a cigarette can dry out the piercing. So like when you're smoking, the smoke is there. It can actually cause harm to the piercing because it's drying it out. Nicotine has also been linked with slowing down the body's ability to heal, which is gonna prolong the healing process of your piercing. So these quote unquote poor habits that may be linked with stress could potentially prolong your healing process, especially if you're doing them a lot and frequently. And finally, stress can lead to a poor diet. Good nutrition is needed for your body to function properly. You're not getting that nutrition with a poor diet. Poor diet can lead to your immune system not functioning as it should. So going back to the beginning where your body is focusing on other more important areas, the same thing's gonna happen in this situation. You also need those minerals, those vitamins, all of that stuff going throughout your body so that it stays in tip-top shape. If you're not eating those things that give you vitamins, minerals, all of that stuff, then your body has nowhere to push it. So stress itself can actually lead to the immune system being compromised, but then also when you're stressed, you do other things such as develop poor eating habits, or maybe even pick up drinking or smoking. All of that can lead to your immune system being compromised and a person just not being able to heal properly. So although you believe you have been doing everything correctly, you have been doing that aftercare, you've been doing that saline solution soak, you've been using mild soap on it, you think you're doing everything correctly, there may be a few things that are kind of prolonging the process that you haven't even thought about. Again, these are not everything that may prolong the healing process, but these tend to be the most common reasons. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever had a piercing and you're sitting there going like, I have done everything correctly and it just won't heal. And then all of a sudden you realize that there were some things causing problems with it. You know, what was that experience like for you? Believe me, I cannot tell you how many times that I have accidentally slept on a brand new piercing. I am a side sleeper who rolls in the night. I'll start off on the side that I'm supposed to start on, and then wake up in the morning and I'm like, I'm on my piercing. I also cannot tell you how many times my brush has caught an ear piercing. Like, oh my gosh, way too many times. You know, more irritants could be like makeup accidentally getting on it. You know, have you ever experienced any of these problems before? And some of these we just may not think about. Having a drink after a long day of work, we may not consider that being a huge issue, but it could potentially become one. You know, let us know in the comments below if you ever had a piercing that you just were like, why is this not healing? And then all of a sudden you kind of realized, oh, that's why. Special thank you to my patrons. You can help support the channel on Patreon while having access to videos early, viewing patron-only content, and more. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big ol' thumbs up. Go on down there and hit that subscribe button, wherever it may be, because I don't know, even though I do, this is just my shtick now. Also hit that notification bell in case you want to know when I upload, and in case YouTube wants to let you know when I upload, because I would really appreciate it. And until next time, bye guys.